Alright, hey guys, so I'm filming on my little camera again today. So I don't have like a external mic and all that stuff to make the sound really good. So this Q&A will be based off of questions that I get a lot and questions that you guys asked me on my Instagram story the other day when I put it up on my story to like submit a question. So let's get started. I'll remember to look at this. It's so hard. I'm just gonna read off the questions that I got. And again, like I said, I'll just try to do most of the ones that were asked more frequently. Okay. Oh, we'll start with the number one most requested thing. I posted about it the other day, or I did a post on my story about it, or I mentioned it on my story the other day. And I got so many questions about it, and that is my under eye bag surgery. I have always been really insecure about my under eye bags. I had them my whole entire life, and nothing that I was doing like externally or like medications I was taking in terms of like allergy meds to like depuff, nothing was helping them like deflate essentially. So they would become like really puffy and irritated, and I could like ice them, or I could put like cold spoons on them, or I could do the green tea bags or the cucumbers or the ice, you know, or the eye patches or whatever. The initial puffiness would go away after I iced them a lot or something like that. But the eye bags were still always there. So when I moved up to LA when I was 21 and interning out here, my mom was like, why don't you go to a doctor there? Because that's like the best plastic surgeons in the world you're gonna find in Los Angeles and like in Beverly Hills. So why don't you go do that? So I went to a doctor that was recommended to me by another doctor, and we went in to talk about the under eye bag surgery, and it has like a more specific name that I'll put right here if you guys want to look that up. So basically it was surgery for under my eye bags, and I went in for a consultation just to see if I was a candidate for the surgery. My doctor said that you have 3 different like fat bags underneath your eyes, and some people genetically are predisposed to have more fat under the bags in their eye, which means that no matter what you do, you can't get rid of that externally by icing or doing whatever. Like you can get rid of puffiness due to allergies, due to crying, or just inflammation in general. No matter how much you get rid of inflammation, it's not going to get rid of like the actual fat that rests under your eye bags. So that's different than having dark eye circles, because dark eye circles are indentations. That means you don't have enough fat underneath your eyes to cover the darkness right here, like where your veins and all that stuff are. So having big eye bags and having deep dark circles are actually opposite things. So for me, I don't really have issues with dark circles very much. I have issues with the bags. So he was like, all right, the only way to get rid of eye bags right now was to do this under eye surgery. So basically I went under anesthesia. They pull back your eyelid from what I understand, and they go in like through the bottom, and they take fat out of each little bag. And then they take the rest of the fat, because my doctor told me you don't want to remove too much, because then you have the other issue where you don't have enough fat underneath your eyes. And people usually, as you age, want to put fat in your face rather than take it out of your face. Like people inject fillers in their face and do things like that to not age. So it's kind of rare that you ask someone to remove fat from this part of your face. And then they took the bags themselves, and they pulled them down a little bit and then sutured them to the top of my cheeks right here. So this surgery was much worse than I thought it was gonna be for me personally, because I bruise really easily and I get really inflamed. So thankfully my dad was in town to help me, but my eyes were shut, like literally covered, like crusted almost with blood, as gross as that is, for like a day when I went home. And I remember feeling my way to the bathroom, and like, this is gross, sorry if you guys get queasy, but I felt my way to the bathroom because I couldn't open my eyes, and I took a Q-tip and I just like wet it and like kept it on my eyes and tried like literally like kind of like pried my eyes open like this. It didn't hurt as bad because I was on pain meds as it sounds, but it was painful. My face was bruised for months and months. Like I went to my internship for the next month and my eyes would just like randomly bleed from the inside of my eyeball. Which again, it didn't hurt, but it's just like unsafe to be driving a car. And like, thankfully it didn't happen when I was driving, but it happened a couple times to me. They told me when I went in, once the So basically once they sutured down the bags, the rest of the bag that they didn't take out, once they pulled them down here, they put tape on my face too to kind of keep inflammation down as much as possible. Basically I had the tape, I had so much swelling, I had bruising underneath and above my eye, I had bruising all the way into here. The tape had to stay on for like a couple weeks. So I was just walking around like with tape all over my face and bruised like that really badly. So once they took the tape off, the inflammation was going down, but the bruising did not go away for literally for months. It took me a long time to be able to even cover it with makeup. It's definitely not something that I would recommend realistically to anybody that has like a job that they need to go to every day. The bags are smaller, but I mean, many of y'all said that you don't have bags. I definitely do still have fat bags, but right now I have makeup on and I have a ring light in front of my face and I'm keeping my head up like this, so you can't tell. Like that's, and also strategically when I do my makeup, I put concealer right here on this bag so y'all can still see where these bags are. This is after coverage, after perfect ring lighting. They're still there after all of that. So just like, I don't know, also it costs like $5,000 and it's not covered by insurance mostly. I don't think any insurance would cover that. I do not recommend. Another thing that I've heard to do is, if you have the opposite issue, is to get filler underneath your eye, which is another thing I don't know that much about just because like I don't need more stuff underneath my eyes. I have these freaking bags as it is. So that's the under eye bag surgery that y'all wanted to hear about. I'm sure now there are better ways of doing this. I'm sure there's like some kind of laser or something that you can use to get rid of them. I'm not like going ham on researching right now because I just don't really have time, and it's fine. I have eye bags. We'll freaking deal with it. So that's the eye bag thing. All right, next. I got 1,000,001 questions about dating in Los Angeles, what relationships I've been in and what they've taught me. Dating guys off of social media, meeting guys on dating apps. So I'm dealing with fuckboys again, which I addressed in my last Q&A. So I'm going to, because everyone's asked me, I'm not going to name any names at all. I'm not going to be super specific, but I'm going to give you a little synopsis of my dating history since like high school, college. So I didn't kiss a boy until I was almost 18 years old. So there was not dating for me in high school. Like I was so afraid of boys. Honestly, I'm still afraid of boys. I don't know what's wrong with me. So when I got to college, I talked to a guy for a little bit. That was like my first experience with like any dude at all that I actually liked. And he ended up being kind of a fuckboy. Not really, he was just like a young college kid like everyone is. So I wouldn't say he was a fuckboy, but definitely wasn't like, it's not like the kind of guy that I'm really into. Just had to like learn what it meant to like tell someone that you even liked them. Like it wasn't like a deep relationship at all. That's like the only run-in I've really had with a guy that like made me like did things that like made me upset or sad, or like I allowed to like make me sad. So after that, I think that ended, I was like 20 years old or so, maybe at 19. It was, yeah. So it happened for like, you know, the first year of my college experience. After that, I was pretty single. So in my life, I have been more serious about 2 guys, like in total. And when I say more serious, I mean like we were dating, I met their family, they met my family, they were a part of my life for a long time. I spent a lot of my time during the day like either texting them or, you know, talking to them in some way, giving them time that I could be using for other more like things that are productive. Guys that I would like go above and beyond to go visit or to hang out with or on purpose talk to. I will say that both of the guys I've been more serious with were not living in my same city as me. So we did like more of a long distance thing where I would see them either like, the first one I would see like every 2 months or so. I was still in college. And then this last one, I saw him like probably every month or so. The 2 guys I've been with have been truly like some of the most amazing people on the planet. Like I have nothing bad to say about either of them. The first thing that I would say to describe any of the guys I've been serious about is he is the best fucking human on planet Earth. If you ask me to describe them, that's the first thing I would say. Like he's literally just the man, like he's just the best. And so until you can describe someone like you're in awe of just their character before even like their job or the way that they look or anything like that, like you need to wait for someone like that. I love my life, and anyone that comes into my life needs to like add to it rather than only take away or something like that. So wait until someone comes into your life that you just need to know and like you need to be around in terms of like kind of selfishly helping you be better, and then you can add to their life that as well. And that's when like that's what, to me, what a good relationship is like two people being very comfortable in their lives and like respectively just like killing it, and then also respecting each other and supporting each other and being like friends with each other on like a base level. I think that's so important. I think that's so rare, and you need to be with a person that you're in awe of because of who they are as a person, and not again because of their job or what they look like or anything like that. Like you can be in awe of those things too, but I think the thing that really should draw you in when it comes to dating is the real person that they are, and if you respect what they value and things like that, and if you guys value the same things, the same priorities and things like that. I think that when you make decisions in terms like about relationships and things like that, I have girlfriends that get involved with guys that like they know suck, but they are just either like really attracted to them, or they, I don't know, like I can't describe like the fuckboy scenario because it just, I don't get affected by people like that like anymore. I guess at the beginning in college, like I can kind of understand because I've been around guys that are kind of like you're drawn to them for some reason and you don't know why. But for me, if I'm gonna be like serious about someone, I'm only going to take time out of my day to be serious about people that are fucking unbelievable. And I've been so lucky to have found guys in my life either that I was more serious about, or even guys that I've like, there's a couple guys that I've talked to that are, my timing just like didn't really align with them in terms of like actually dating them. But I have been surrounded by some of the best guys on the planet who have been so respectful and just like great humans. Like the two guys, again, like I was saying, that I did really like date, they were guys that were very serious about what they were doing with their lives. They're very goal oriented. So I like a very specific type of person, and the type of guy that I like is, like I said, again, goal oriented. He's doing his own thing. He's like very into his like building his life and being successful at what he does. And like they do these amazing things with their own lives, and they have their own jobs that are really intense or really amazing, that they require a lot of effort and a lot of their attention, which is like my number one trait that I like beyond anything. I don't have much of a physical type, but I love when someone's obsessed with their job and someone creates a life around this job that they really like, because I think I see that as like taking control of your life, and like that's really masculine and really hot to me. And I like someone who's really busy. I also like guys that are really honest and that are just kind of those types of people that would rather, that just don't really lie about things because they don't really see the need to lie about things. I've always been able to surround myself with guys who make me like a better human and inspire me to be a better person. And I, again, like I said, don't really have much to say about the fuckboy scenario when it comes to actually dating guys and spending a lot of quality time with people or dudes who are fuckboys, because I just don't. Like I said, again, I've been so lucky to know the men in my life that I have dated or talked to or whatever. There have been so many really, really, really good ones, and I am like happy to say that I know them, and I'm still friends with them all. Like there is really no hard feelings between me and any of them at this point, from at least my end. So in terms of dating, and everyone, like people ask me like, how do I find a guy? What do I do? Like how do I start dating, etc. My whole philosophy on dating is I don't really look for a guy to fill like the guy role that I need in my life. Like I'm not like, oh, I need a guy, like let me go look for one. The first guy I was ever serious about, I met him randomly and it just kind of like clicked and happened, and it was so natural, and he was so great and amazing, and he taught me a lot about myself and inspired me to be just like a really good person. And he taught me kind of what like open lines of communication look like. I always like guys who are so comfortable in their masculinity that they're able to just like tell me how it is and tell me how they feel and all that stuff. And so the first guy I was with seriously taught me a lot about what that looks like, and show me that that's what I like. And I feel like once you are with someone like that who not only respects you and is like great on so many human levels, but approaches the relationship very honestly and communicates really well, once you're with someone like that, I feel like it's really hard to go back to like a fuckboy type. Guys that are deemed fuckboys, they're liars or cheaters or whatever, they just like, it's not sexy at all. It makes them kind of look like a pussy. Like, I don't like that. That's not masculine. That's not attractive to me. Be a fucking man. Say the things that you want and the things that you think, and be honest. And the second that someone becomes different than that and becomes like schemy and weird and like lies about things, like I just am not attracted to that. So I don't go for that. So I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff really anymore. And the second that I notice that in somebody, even if I really like the person or I'm really attracted to the person, I have to cut it off. Like I've been in a situation where I thought the guy was so hot, like we had good chemistry, and he was like, I saw like 1 ounce of scheminess in him. After a couple months of talking to him, I was like, no, I can't do this, because I'm not about to waste my time talking to someone every single day. Give fuckboys like your weekend time when you're partying and you're like having a drink or two and you want to go hang out and like have fun. Like that's when you hang out with fuckboys. But bringing guys into my serious life, my weekly life, to actually put an effort into more of a relationship, I've been lucky to have a good eye when it comes to that kind of thing, because I value my time so much. So yeah, the first guy taught me a lot about communication and how wonderful it is to be with a guy that is very comfortable in himself and confident enough to share himself and masculine enough to like not worry about being regarded as like too emotional or too honest or anything like that. Like he was just great, like truly an amazing first person to be serious about. And so again, like I said, lucky to know him. So then the last relationship that I had kind of blossomed out of a friendship that lasted for a few years. So again, I wasn't like looking for someone to fill a role of like boyfriend in my life. It was more like, oh, I know this person and we've been friends for a while, and it wasn't a lot of like effort on the front end of my part because I already knew him, and I already knew like what I was getting myself into for like in general. There are lots of different things that go along with like switching from being friends to in a relationship. It was like I knew him, I knew he was an incredible person, and I couldn't like not have him in my daily life. You know what I mean? Like every time I start talking to a guy or really start getting more serious with them, it's not because I'm looking for them to fill the role. Like I said, it's more because like they're such great people that I would be so stupid to not have them in my daily life for as much as I possibly could. Like I love meeting people like that in general. So the fact that I've been lucky enough to meet guys that are like that and that like me back on whatever level I've just been so lucky. So I think my dating advice would be, do your thing. Like you don't need to worry, don't like look for some guy to fill a role, because that's when you start overlooking certain flaws or certain like personality traits that you might not really want, because you want someone to fill that role so much. So I do not believe in like finding a guy for the sake of finding a guy because you don't want to be lonely anymore. I have really incredible friendships. I have a great family that I'm close with. So like I don't need to have a guy in my life to make me happy, because I have some incredible relationships around me already, and that's enough for me, and focusing on those is enough for me. And when the guy comes along, like again, if a guy comes along that is so good that I can't not have him in my life, of course I welcome that kind of person in my life, but I don't look for someone specifically because I just want to be dating. I think at some point there is probably a happy medium in between the two, but dating's not my thing. I've gone on a couple dates out here in Los Angeles. I don't meet guys via social media, really. I don't think anyone's really successfully slid into my DMs and I've actually gone to like hang out with them. I don't know. If you're a guy that has done that, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that I have done that before. So for me, my dating cornerstones are, don't look for it too hard, because then you'll start making concessions and you'll start cutting corners in terms of what you deserve. So wait until someone comes along that makes you feel good about yourself, that inspires you to be like a better person. When someone like consistently makes me sad or when someone does something that's kind of fucked up, like one time, like if they lie, something like that, that's when I cut it off. And it doesn't matter to me how much I really like them, because I might really like them a lot. Overall, of course, relationships are always going to stress you out a little bit, but I think overall it's supposed to add to your life. Like, it's supposed to make you happy rather than like make you sad all the time. So if you notice that you're sad all the time, or you're stressed all the time, no matter if it's your fault or his fault or whatever, you need to like get to a place mentally in your head where you're okay and you're happy. If that means like maybe not being in a relationship or leaving that relationship, or not pursuing a relationship with someone because you notice these patterns. I get out of anything that's not serving me anymore. It doesn't make me proud to be a part of, and that's just it. It's really hard sometimes, but you kind of have to have like a no bullshit policy with yourself, and you need to respect yourself in a way that's like, I'm not gonna baby myself. I'm not gonna allow myself to act, you know, to be wrapped up in these certain like emotional things when you know that it's not good for you. And I'm pretty good at cutting it off when I find out that it's not gonna be good for me. You know, ignoring what I want to do, like in terms of emotions, and doing what I know is right for me. I'm able to just kind of like separate the two and do what's right. So that's my spiel about boys. Okay, a couple quick questions that I can answer, like kind of rapid fire here. Can you make some sort of fitness routine that you do because your body is amazing? One, thank you. And you know, when you see my body in photos, a lot of it's angles, let's be honest. In terms of fitness routine, I have a post up about my overall fitness regime on the blog, and I also have a post about my favorite fitness classes that I frequent, and I also have a couple of vlogs up on my YouTube channel called Healthy Week in My Life vlogs, where I detail a couple different workouts. You can go look at those, and I will link them below. Next, do you use a web designer to launch your blog on WordPress, or did you do it all yourself? So I actually have a blog post up about how I started my blog and what I used. I did use WordPress. I just used a WordPress theme when I started it, and I just put it up and got to writing because it's one of those things that you can't put off for too long. You just gotta start. So I just did that. Also, in the last Q&A that I did, I have more talk about blogging and things like that. What is your go-to Starbucks order? So because I live in Los Angeles, we are very bougie here. I don't really go to Starbucks that often, just because there's so many other like coffee places that I prefer around here. I love oat milk because it's very creamy. It's more creamy and thick, and I like the way it tastes. So I go to places that have oat milk, which would be like Alfred or some other bougie coffee place in Beverly Hills. I just went to Nespresso today. It was so bomb. I got really good oat milk. There's a lot of places in Los Angeles that have oat milk, but if I'm in a pinch, if I'm at the airport, whatever, I go to Starbucks. I usually get either an iced coffee with almond milk and I put stevia in there and some cinnamon powder, or the last time I was there, I got an iced latte with coconut milk and I put the vanilla bean powder in there, and it was really good. What is the best part of being an influencer for you? So I think the best part of doing this as my job is the fact that I have complete control over my day, and that's always been a big part of my life, is the freedom and the ability to make decisions about what I'd spend my time doing. I just like to have the ability to choose what I want in a lot of different situations. I love not having to report to someone to ask them what I should do next. I love the fact that I can work all the time doing all these various things. And I love the fact that like it's all different all the time and it's all controlled by me. Like, I choose to do what I want to do, even if that means I get no time off. Okay, so the last question I'll do is about blogging, and this question says, do you think you would have had the same success with your blog if you had stayed in Texas? So when I moved out to LA from college, I moved out to LA because I thought that living here would be like the best place for me to live to grow my blog. And I think it was correct. From what I know, I've been doing this for 2 years now, and I'm very comfortable with, obviously like I always want more and more and more, but I'm able to like live in Los Angeles. It is very expensive to live here, like pretty expensive. It's not as bad as New York, which is just like astronomical, but LA is pretty freaking ridiculous. Like, everything you do costs money. Parking anywhere costs money. Rent is like double what I pay in Texas. Meant for like not that nice of apartment, sharing roommates, things like that. And the city is faster paced than back home in Texas. It's I mean, there are parts of it that aren't, and that's what I love about LA is you can kind of find where you want to be. Like there are plenty of parts of LA that are more residential, but again, overall it is very expensive to live here. So being able to work for myself and make enough money to comfortably live here without like being so scared of spending like a cent. One of the things I'm the most proud of myself, I would say. I've built something that is able to like bring in an income that allows me to live in a city like Los Angeles. There are so many amazing things about LA, which is why so many people want to live here and why it's so expensive to live here, because it, you know, people can charge these prices because people will pay them because LA is awesome. That being said, I've been thinking a lot lately about what I want to do with my future in terms of vlogging and things, you know, outside of the blog that I want to do. Of course, always using as my platform, using the blog as my platform to share those things with you, but they might not necessarily be like just blogging related. Like they might be external, more like my nonprofit that I'm starting. You know, if I wanted to get into creating products, things like that. But the blog will always be like the center platform of everything though. So I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I really want to start spending more time either traveling or spending time back home in Texas, maybe in Austin, just kind of getting involved in the community there. I really like the city of Austin and I have a lot of friends that live there. So I texted one of my friends recently and I was like, I'd love to get more involved in like the blogging scene in Austin. I don't know that many big bloggers from Austin. LA is very oversaturated. There's so many bloggers here, and I think that coming out here and going to events is a really good way to start and get your foot in the door and to like kind of get your name out there. I mean, every brand that I want to meet and hang out with is here or New York. I am able to meet with these people face to face because I live in Los Angeles and I'm available to do that here. But as I grow more and as I become more established, that means I have to do these kinds of meetings and have to do these face-to-face things like a little bit less as I kind of hone in on the brands that I love to work with, that love to work with me. I don't need to spend as much time trying to put myself out there for people to find me. Of course, that's never going to stop. You know, on some level, I'm always going to be doing that because as a blogger, you can never grow too much. You know what I mean? But I'm getting to a point where I'm comfortable, and it would be nice to have a presence in a city other than Los Angeles, which I don't mean I'm moving to Austin or anything like that, but I am just very interested in getting involved there and hanging out in Austin more often because I love Texas and I love my home. I love the city, getting involved with brands there, getting involved with other bloggers there, going to events out there, spending more time actually like staying in Austin. And I have some friends that live there, so I'm like telling them I'm gonna crash on their couch a lot coming up, hopefully, if I can sustain that lifestyle. Just, you know, leaving LA every so often to do things like that. So if you are a blogger in Austin or a brand in Austin, let me know because I'm going to be there for ACL October 12th. So I'm doing weekend 2. And then November, I'm probably going to be back in Texas, and I'll probably be in Dallas and Austin and probably back in College Station for a football game. So the answer is, I think that it would have taken me longer, though I don't know for sure. I think it would have taken me a little bit longer to grow my following if I lived in Texas, just because also I love being surrounded by the girls I'm surrounded with here in LA because they're so inspiring and everyone's working their ass off and we can work together, and I just love the community I've been able to build out here, and I think that being a part of that community has been really helpful in my growth. I don't know that much about the Texas blogging community. I don't know much about specifically the one in Austin or the one in Dallas or the one in Houston. Like, I don't know exactly what those look like. I just know what LA looks like, and it's such a bomb community for bloggers out here, and I really, really love it. So I think LA, moving here was such a good decision, but like I said, I would love to grow my presence somewhere else other than LA. Some girls are like LA and New York, more bi-coastal, and I would love to be between LA and Austin eventually, I think. All right, so I'm gonna try to cut that down. Y'all, I just recorded for so long. I hope that I answered some good questions for you guys, and I hope that my answers made sense to you. I hope that y'all picked up something from this, and I hope it was beneficial for you. If you like these types of videos, please let me know. I'll continue to do Q&As. Maybe I'll do them monthly or something. Yeah, if you like videos like this, let me know. You can always send in your questions. I'll be sure to ask you guys if you have any questions when I'm noticing, you know, an influx of specific questions. So if you do like these videos, also please make sure to give this video a thumbs up so I am well aware of that fact. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along for the ride. Right now I have lots of vlogs up and things like that, but I'm getting more into other videos and I would love to get your input on the kinds of things that I want to hear about. I think I'm headed more towards like haul videos and products because I don't like to do a lot of posts on my actual feed about products, because I think that gets a little bit like my Instagram about products and things like that, because it gets like salesy. But of course I use certain products every single day of my life and I would still love to share them. So I'd love the idea of haul videos. So if you want to do, I'll do like a hair one, I can do skincare, whatever. I know I've promised a skincare video for so long now. I promise I will get to that, but on Thursday I'm doing micro needling for the first time, or micro needling and PRP is what it's called, and I wanted to wait until after that. I can add that into the video. So that's what I'm waiting on, the micro needling to happen, me to see my initial results, so I can like add that into my skincare video. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to y'all next time.